So, you just bought a fancy schmancy sports car. You've enjoyed it for a couple months, driven it around public roads at 55 miles an hour, and now, what the hell do you do with it? I have an answer for you. It's called a racetrack. Summit Point, 8-yard Bomber Motorsports Park. Cars are rolling off. 787 rolling out. This series is going to give you the details, the insider knowledge about how to get to a racetrack, how to drive. Damn it! So we're going to go on a little journey exploring the veiled world of how to get into motorsports, track events, an environment that's safe where you can really enjoy the vehicle the way it's meant to be enjoyed. Not at 55 miles an hour on Route 17 or something. The costs, car prep, the driver prep to think about, the different types of organizations and clubs, because the different organizations have different focuses of why they're doing what they're doing. So it's important that you get connected with the right organization for your needs. So before we get into the details and go down the journey of getting into motorsports, let me give you a little background of who I am, because I want you to understand the fact that I do know a little something about this space. My name is Mo Karamat. I'm the CEO and owner of Off Camber Autosport and OCA Racing. We're a performance shop in northern New Jersey. Personally, I have been in motorsports for more than 20 years. I've done things like autocrossing, which we'll talk about, track events or driver's education events, and I've done different types of racing. I'm going to give you a perspective of somebody who, just like you perhaps, has never been to a racetrack, which is where I started, to where I am today as a certified instructor and racer and race instructor and that sort of thing. So that's a little bit about me. I want to start talking about different types of events. I think it's a good place to start. Probably the simplest type of event, the one most readily available to a wide selection of people, is what's called an autocross or an Auto X. Put simply, a club like BMW Club or Porsche Club will rent a parking lot, a large parking lot from a stadium or something like that. They will then use those little orange traffic cones, which I'm sure everyone has seen, and they'll set up a course with the cones through the parking lot. Your objective as a participant is to navigate the course as quickly as you can without knocking cones down, because there's a penalty if you knock a cone down, and get to the end where the other timing lights are going to be. That's an autocross. And we're going to get into details for autocrossing in another episode. I'm just going to give you a highlight here. The next type of event would be what's called a DE, a driver's education event, or called a track event. This is when a club like BMW Club and Porsche Club and Audi Club will rent a racetrack. Yes, a real live racetrack like Watkins Glen or New Jersey Motorsports Park. And they will set up this event where basically people like yourself and different levels of students will pay for the ability to get 5 or so 25-minute sessions with a certified instructor like myself, coaching you, teaching you how to drive safely, under control, and with some speed, quite frankly, on a racetrack. They're magical. Racetrack events also will morph into something called a time trial. Time trial is an event that somebody puts on where the cars are let out one at a time with a bit of a buffer, and your objective simply is to get around the racetrack from the start finish all the way on the racetrack back to the start finish in the fastest time you can do. That's called the time trial. The next level up, what I consider, is wheel-to-wheel racing. That's something that's near and dear to my heart and I've been doing for years. That is just like you see on television. There'll be 20, 30, 40, 50 cars that are all competing on a racetrack. Those races will go on for 30 minutes, or the endurance races that we do, they'll go on for 8, 9, 14 hours. That's wheel-to-wheel racing. Other types of motorsports events are like rally events. They set up a course like a track event on a racetrack, but this event is held outside in a forest, through fields, on public roads, and you're sideways a lot. Also great fun, little different flavor of motorsports. Another type of motorsport is called drifting, which everyone's heard of drifting, right? They're also renting a racetrack, but the objective when you go around in this event is not necessarily the fastest way around. In drifting, the objective is to show car control. And as they like to say, get the car sideways around the racetrack, drift around the racetrack. The last type of motorsports that I'm going to touch base on a little bit is called drag racing. And everyone's, I'm sure, heard of that. These are dedicated cars generally. You can do it with a regular car. And you have a drag strip. It's a straight patch of pavement. And there are timing lights at the beginning and the end. And your objective is to get to the end as quickly as you can. That's drag racing. So in this series, we're going to go in depth on each one of these and kind of talk about the salient points about them. Do you guys need me? Yes. Future episodes of this series will go over details on all those events, as well as some general ideas around car development. You know, what kind of car you may want to buy, what kind of modifications you may want to make to the car. Driver development, you know, how you can improve as a driver as time goes by. The costs involved, the supplies that you may want to bring to these different events. Again, my objective with this series is to have you prepared for whatever form of motorsports calls you. I want you to be ready, I want you to get there, and I want you to love motorsports, because as I say, the more the merrier. And motorsports are something that's very near and dear to my heart. I'd like a lot more people to do it. So stay tuned, and don't forget, in our YouTube channel, there's another little series you might want to check out called The Off-Camber Life. It's a docudrama about my life in the shop, building cars, working on cars, as well as the adventures that we have going endurance racing. And I will tell you, there's lots of adventures. It's kind of crazy at times. So remember, The Off-Camber Life. Go check it out.